at, droids? Surely not. You know they're bulletproof, right? Hey guys, it's your girl Ayesha, aka GeekXX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Andor. We're now on to season 2, episode 8, which is called Who Are You? Now that is definitely a deep question, especially in this series. But anyways, in the last episode, we had Cassian return to Gorman after a year, and he saw that things are very different than what he remembered. The reason he went back, though, is because Willman basically said that a mutual target of theirs, Dedra, was out in the open and up for the taking, as it were. And so basically to appease Willman to some degree and also to get that monkey off his back, he decided to go. But on arriving, he recognized that things were very different and that the Empire presence was far stronger and far larger than he could have anticipated. So yeah, we basically ended the episode with him kind of realizing that it wasn't going to be as easy as Willman made it sound to try to even get to Dedra. But I think it was more that he was sensing just how off things were there in the sense of what they thought was going on and what was really going on. And then the other side, we saw that Cyril is starting to figure out that the reason he was sent there by Dedra is not exactly the real reason he's supposed to be there. He can sense that something big is about to happen as well, but he basically tried to get answers from Dedra and she didn't give him any, just basically told him, hey, we're this close to getting out of here. Let's keep our heads down and get out of here. So we'll have to see whether or not that sits well with Cyril or not, but I have a feeling he's gonna just follow along because, you know, he's a simp. So with that being said, let's jump into the episode. Just before I do, though, if you'd like to be in the know when I drop episodes, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. And if you'd like to watch full uncut reactions to this, you can also check that out on my Patreon. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now.
That's not a request, that's an order! Get that one ready then!
Barricades?
Come on, soldier, look lively!
You know, anyways, I could never be in the military. Having someone yell at me when they're just standing around. Instant annoyance. Yeah, what is all this for when there's peaceful Gormans around?
Did you know about this?
Of course he's sleeping with her.
They're pulling it all in. What do you mean? I won't get a shot from here.
Why are you not believing
They're building a fortress.
Cassian? Like, why would he lie to you, Willman?
We need what's in the ground. The Empire has been patient long enough.
Yep, they said we're done.
Struggles with Gorman are well documented at this point.
Ugh, so evil. And casually evil. Just about to wipe out millions of people, possibly an entire ethnicity. Don't care. Because there's stuff in the ground. Yeah, y'all are bringing knives to a gunfight here. Wow, word for word. Ugh. Mass demonstrations where? There's 0 people in the square. Oh, Edie's worried about her boy. With her little spider on her desk. She may be overbearing, but she does love that boy. They just want them all in the same place at the same time. Where are the Jedi when you need them? Exactly. And y'all keep forgetting to listen. Exactly. And that's the kind of silence you don't come back from. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. You've been trying to tell them. You can try, but it's too late now. This was played masterfully. Hope you're proud of yourself, Dedra. He's like, well, it was a nice thought. I'm gonna put these all back. Quietly head on my way. Willman. I don't think he's gonna leave a girl again.
All this time, you...
Yep.
How could we be so foolish?
Mention no more.
Lies. You work for the Imperial.
How do you speak the word?
Exactly. And not gag.
All over the planet. Rigs and drones.
It's a rumor.
It's not a
Are
rumor.
you mad?
No.
What kind of a being are you?
Thank you. Not even human to do this. And again, I know he was completely
Our ground.
ignorant to this.
What is it you've been sent to steal from us?
But I really don't think that he would see. He wouldn't do anything to stop it. So that's why I don't feel bad for Cyril. Cyril the simp. Checking out immediately.
Not sure I'll be back. Not to worry, you were never here.
Thanks.
Didn't log you in.
You're a good guy. Probably gonna die.
I hope things work out for you. Rebellions are built on hope.
Oh, you could have been a Jedi in another life. And it's so sad, right? To be someone like Cassian and see how the pieces are so clearly in place for what's about to happen and see that people are too blind to see it. They're too emotional. They're too riled up. It's just, that'd be so frustrating. Oh, that was damn close.
Get the South Steps unit on the line. Sir.
I mean, he was doing your contact work. You shut down comms. Of course he has a scar on his face. Every evil person in these shows, they usually have a scar. And it's almost always on their face for some reason, or a burn. It's like Villain 101. How can you be an insurgent in your own country?
Repeat. Where are you? Talk to me.
I think we're gonna lose Wilman, guys. I have a sneaking suspicion. Oh, there she is. And you already dismantled your long-range weapon, so you're not getting your shot today. The way that actress is so good at making it seems like she's smelling crap constantly. Just face made up like doo-doo.
Insurgents spread rumors through the night and have organized this highly volatile
Yeah, you see? You see? Listen, I understand that Cyril was definitely duped here, but like I said, I don't think he would actually have done anything anyway.
Just making sure we're all safe.
AKA calm yourself. You seem animated. Ooh, the way he's watching you. You twitch, Cyril. That man's gonna karate chop you to the neck. Not with the droid. It's effectively the kids' table. Oh, the handful of people that are gonna survive this. The droid's like, punk. Still trying to figure out what Cassian could possibly do in this situation. Like, there's just too many of them. Obviously, I'm not worried about Cassian. This is his show. There's no way he's getting taken out at this point, but I don't like him being trapped in here.
Immediately and secure the area, or you can all finish your days in an Imperial brig.
It's what you signed up for. And yes, I'm aware that not all of them have a choice. I love the way his visor didn't stay up. It's so real. I don't think it was planned, but it looked good. Those are not Gormans. But the Empire would plant people in there that look like Gormans just to make sure things get crazy quick. They need something. Singing is far more peaceful than chanting. Well done with the kind of how it's filtering out. With people stopping the chant to start singing. Yeah, look at you guys, such badasses going up against people who are singing. Can't imagine how you must feel if they start dancing. I have very little tolerance for bullies. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, you're not getting there today, bro.
How long have you known about all this?
From the beginning. See if she lies. Ooh! Okay, Cyril, you got a little hotter right there.
You're gonna tell me what this has really been about?
You're hurting me.
And you are going to tell me what the mining ships are doing here.
They're not.
There is an armada
Ooh.
up there.
Cyril, I'm not gonna lie, this is the sexiest you've ever been.
You couldn't even wait.
But I appreciate it.
And I will throw you out that window.
Cyril!
What have
Cyril!
you been doing here?
Where was this energy a year ago? Where was this energy 6 months ago even?
How long have you known this?
Day one.
They've been planning it for years. They're doing this no matter what.
Justification, justification, justification. Still evil. See if you got enough
Doesn't seem to mind my
backbone
emotions.
to break up with her. I might take back my slander if you break up with her, Cyril.
Good luck, Tetra.
Okay, slander on hold. I gotta wait and see if he actually sticks to it. He's angry right now. Let's see what happens when the emotions drop. But that shit was hot. Not gonna lie, Cyril, You went up. You went up a lot of levels there. But again, this energy should have come sooner. Okay, even he doesn't feel good about this right now. But again, following orders. And again, I know it's different for different people, but I just know for myself, there's just things I know I intrinsically could never do, even with a gun to my head, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself after that. Surviving isn't worth it if it's living knowing that you did something like this.
Find Cyril. Bring him back. Do not let him leave the building.
Too late. Don't look animated. Be true to your name and look dead. They might listen to him, but at this point, there's no way they're clearing the square, and they're locked in, so... What are you trying to do, Cyril? I mean, I don't blame him not wanting to be in that building, but I'm just trying to figure out what he's trying to do. If he chooses to die with them, then like I said, I have to take back all my slander. Uh-oh, what happened on the call? What happened? Why didn't we see it? How come we didn't see it?
Fire at will. Repeat. Fire at will.
He's gonna kill the greens! Oh, you bastards! Wow.
Open fire!
Homie didn't even have a gun! But anyway. Yeah, this is what they wanted. And look at that. Y'all crowded in, nowhere to run. Just hitting you now. Where is her dad, by the way? Wow, Cyril is literally shell-shocked. Like, this man just wiping people out for no reason at all. Ugh. Really, a lot of y'all have Stormtrooper aim, man. Yep, and this is all they need to start shooting from the sky. Look at this man, just, oh, beautiful. I really hope every shit he takes to the rest of his life rips open his asshole. Yeah, go in angry, that's smart.
Follow! Follow him!
Right, stay low. Stay low. Ma'am. Wow, Cyril's got that plot armor.
It's not safe.
She's fine unless one of the snipers decides to start shooting up. Although, take your shot, Cassian. Damn it, you're too slow. I love that he's actually dedicated to getting this shot, though. Ah, it's over for y'all. And the droids look so gangster. Damn, they made them sinister. Yeah, it's over. You realize it's over now? Oh, yeah, it is over for y'all. Cassian, give it up. You're not getting Dedra today. Ma'am, what are you shooting at? Droids? Surely not. You know they're bulletproof, right? Or blast-proof, unless you get them right in the circuits. Bye, sis. Wow, dead on impact. Cyril with this plot armor. Not so much as a scratch. Damn, somebody needs to stand next to this guy. Yep, this is what you work for, Cyril. This is what you've been sleeping with. Soak it up. Take it in. It's gotta be rough, though. Empire definitely doesn't advertise themselves to be this. Yeah, what'd you think was gonna happen, Dedra? Still sitting with that plot. Oh God, please don't tell me you just saw Cassie. Fuck! Okay, this day's not getting good. Of course he's gonna protect his woman. See, this is why I held off on my slander. This is why I held off on my slander, Cyril. You know how to fight. Come on, Cassian. This is embarrassing. Fight! And balls, also. Damn, Cassian. All this time in the rebellion, you can't fight Cyril? Embarrassing. Woo, it's getting hot. It's getting hot. Oh my gosh, how do you even get out? Damn. Cyril's more resilient than I give him credit for. Not today, Cyril. I'm the star of the show.
Who are you?
Exactly. Who is you? Why are you even beefing with me, bruh? Don't even know you. Thank you. Sorry, but screw Cyril. And I know people liked him, but I'm sorry. What was he gonna do? Run right back to that evil woman? But I will give you points, Cyril. At least you didn't know what was happening was wrong. You were on the right foot, at least before you stormed, or as you stormed out of the office. Go on ahead and smile, Dedra. This was a year of your work. Years of your work, actually. This is what you wanted. This was your plan being executed to perfection. Short of, losing your simp, but you'll get another. Yeah.
I'm not leaving without Cyril.
Told ya.
We need a ride to the ship. Look at me.
Yeah, do you realize, sir? Anyways. Oh! Yeah, droids. Droids. Willman, respectfully. At some point, you need to stop using your... and think with your mind. Just, oh. Circuitry. Aim for circuitry. This is metal. Oh. Let's not question it. Run. Thank you. Doesn't quite make up for taking out Cinta, but you know what? It's up there. Let's go. What are y'all waiting for?
I remember you.
Thank you.
I guess. Can we go? Why are we still here?
No, we're leaving.
I told you I can't. You go. I'll be alright.
I mean, it's his choice.
Tell people what happened.
He's a simp. But in a good way, not like a Cyril way. He just wants love. And in fairness, Cassian, you have someone that you're going home to.
One last favor.
What are we getting from the robot?
This is Gorman reaching for any open channel that can hear me. If you can hear me.
So sad because the Empire's just going to say that it was a lie or say that the Gormans started it and they had no choice.
They made this fire and led us to the slaughter.
And y'all followed.
They expect us to die without knowing.
Not your fault, but you did follow.
Today, Imperial ship.
Oh, he lost his daughter.
We're gonna let people know what happened. Help me.
Yeah, I think Cassian knows the chances of them getting out of there is pretty much slim to none. It's over for you, Gorman. Sorry. Smile. You won, Dedra. Take in your prize.
Even as our fallen heroes are beginning their final journeys home,
Hero.
are being asked about how...
Oh, right, Edie. I'm sorry, sis.
And the price we'll pay for our own safety.
Edie felt it too. She knew something was off. She knew this whole situation was not good. But what can you do? Cyril was finally feeling like he was doing something that mattered, so she couldn't stop him. All right, guys. Well, that was a dark episode, but we knew it was coming. Unfortunately, they've been building towards it. I really wanted to hope that there'd be something to come in and stop it, but yeah, considering how early they started this whole storyline and everything that they were doing to show the planning, the preparation, the different parts of it that were being orchestrated, not only from the ground level all the way up to the Senate. Yeah, it was pretty much an inevitability that this was going to happen. The Empire was not walking away from this under any circumstances unless something massive happened to the Empire. And nothing has happened, right? There's no real threat for them at this point. So yeah, unfortunately, this was going to happen. I mean, maybe there could have been less casualties, but we all know that they were going to wipe out Gorman one way or the other. They didn't want the people in the way. It was too much effort and time as far as the Empire was concerned to relocate them or try to give them a different alternative. So it was just easier to get rid of them and just use the planet until they were ready to destroy it. And that's absolutely horrifying to think about. And I mean, since they dropped this whole thing way back in episode, was that 2 or 3, it was stomach churning. But obviously seeing now the people who live there, these people who've done nothing, these people who all they did was just create this one major export that the entire galaxy was benefiting from, and for all other intents and purposes from what we saw, they were minding their business. They didn't bother anybody. And just to be wiped off the map like this because the Empire wanted something that they had. And again, the Empire had the resources, the means to take them. Because the thing is, yeah, there would have been Gormans that would have been like, no, this is my home. You can't make me leave. And they would have maybe chosen to die with the planet. But I'm sure there were thousands, if not millions more, that would have been happy to be relocated if that's what the only alternative was. Right? They could start over. It would have sucked, but they could have started over. But the Empire didn't even want to think about that because it would inconvenience them too much to do that. So it's just super sad. And, obviously, Star Wars has always been reflective of different things that have happened in our real world. And there's been way too many historic examples of when a certain more powerful nation wanted something from somewhere else, and how that is exactly what they did. Wiped out the indigenous community and took what they wanted, and then tried to paint it as though that community did something to deserve this absolute inhumane crime against humanity. But anyways, yeah, the main highlights from this episode were, really, I think the focus was Cyril and Dedra on this one. Like, yeah, we had Cassian, but Cassian basically realized right off the bat that something huge was about to happen. And, he figured, I'm already here. If I can take the shot at Dedra, I might as well take it. But, that was pretty much it. Like, he knew there was nothing more he could really do. He wasn't really going to do anything as far as the resistance was concerned, because he knew it was over for them. He knew that a year ago, to be honest. But anyway, we see that Will is far more emotionally involved, right? Again, I don't think he cares much about the actual Gorman rebellion, but he had a girlfriend, right? Drina, much like he did back on that farming planet. My boy's a lover boy, I guess. He finds these girls and he just can't help himself. And he didn't want to leave her. And I knew as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, he ain't leaving. No matter what happens, he's not going to leave that girl unless he can take her with him. So, and as I said, I was kind of a bit, I understood Cassian's frustration. I felt a little frustrated in the episode, but as I said, Cassian doesn't really have the right to tell Will anything when he's got Bix safely away someplace that he gets to go home to all the time. So it's not really fair of him to ask anyone else to walk away from a connection that they've made, especially in the world they're living in, right? The rebellion's a very lonely place to be, right? They're outside of, unless Will was able to find somebody else who was in the rebellion with him that he could be with, who he could be somewhat honest with. You're always lying to people, right? You're always keeping a certain level of distance between people for your own protection, but also for theirs. So it becomes very lonely if you don't have anybody. And Cassian has that with Bix, but Willman didn't really have anyone. So, after what happened on that farming planet where he had to just up and leave and not even get a chance to really, be with the person he liked there, he wasn't going to do that again this time, right? He had the opportunity to stick around this time. And so I understand his choice to be there, but also I think he also wants to help them, right? Understandably, he knows what's happening here is absolutely messed up in every possible way. And he feels for these people and he wants to help them in any way that he can, even though I think he understands, like Cassian, that for the most part, it's futile at this point. But anyway, futile in the sense of Gorman, but in the larger sense of what's wrong with the Empire, absolutely not. But yeah, that was kind of him. As I said, not much on Cassian this episode, with the exception of what happened with Cyril, but we should talk about Cyril here. Cyril figuring out that, last episode we saw he was already starting to intune that, okay, something's wrong here. Something is very, very wrong. Something much bigger and more nefarious is about to happen here. And that's not why I was sent here. At least that's not what I was told. And the confrontation with him and Rylands is, I think, really what was the proverbial snapping of the twig for him, because, he developed a relationship with these people. And yes, he knew he was there on assignment, but unless you're a complete robot, it's very hard not to genuinely develop care and concern for people you spend a lot of time with, right? Especially if they are generally good people that you actually happen to get along with. And that's what I think what happened to Cyril, is that he genuinely started to care for these people and realize that they are just people like him. And, now to know, like when Rylands came up to him and was like, he's like, this is all happening, these mining ships, like this whole thing. How can you sit here and look me in my eye and not be disgusted with what you're seeing? And, Cyril, I do think, felt that way, but you see how his reaction was to be violent with Rylands, right? And I came down on him a bit in the episode for that, but I recognize that a lot of that was Cyril's own, like he was throwing Rylands, but that was really how he felt inside, right? He wanted to throw himself down because he felt A, stupid for being played, and B, he does feel sick about it. He's not happy, but at the same time, he works for the Empire, who clearly in his mind he thought is doing the right thing up until this point. And that happens, right? That it does happen, that even in the worst of, possible situations, like you take, for example, Nazi Germany, there was a lot of people who were in that military who realized once they were pretty far into it that, whoa, like this is not what I thought we were going to do. Like the message I've been getting and what we're doing are not correlating in my mind. And, for some of them, they might've felt it was too late. They couldn't turn back, where others, they did their best to try to, fix what they could. But I feel like that's where Cyril kind of was, is that, he had an advertisement of what the Empire is, and it had been somewhat good to him until that point. And then he saw this, he saw this ugly, nasty, the seedy underbelly of what the Empire actually does and what they are capable of. And he wasn't, it took him a minute to reconcile that. And he didn't really have time to reconcile that, because in his mind, it was easier to pin all of that on Dedra, right? Because that was the person, the face he knew, the person he knew, the person he clearly thought he had such a connection with that she would have told him what had happened. But to discover that she had lied to him, I mean, in a personal, outside of just, the whole, she was his ranking officer, they were in a personal romantic relationship, and to know that your partner lied to you on that level, that's already also extremely painful and disappointing. So yeah, it was, him showing up and confronting Dedra, that anger was for so many reasons. But I think, obviously like I said, the broken trust between the two of them, because I do think he believed that Dedra would have told him the truth despite orders, because hello, they're sleeping together, right? That's a pretty intimate relationship. And not even just it wasn't like they were casual encounter buddies, right? They lived together. It's for Cyril, I'm pretty sure he was thinking of wifing that woman, ringing her up. And to find out that she's capable of that level of deceit is extremely hurtful, especially since I'm sure that Cyril would have told her, his every last detail about his life, down to his blood type, would have told him all about his family history, would have told his mama's business if that's what she asked, because he trusted her that much. And to find out that it wasn't reciprocal would have been very painful. But, that as an underlying current. And then, of course, what was happening, the betrayal, the lies, the level of carnage that he now knew was about to happen. I got to say it, like I said, I don't take it back. Cyril was this... I found Cyril the sexiest I've ever thought of him in this entire series, in this episode. When he actually stood up for himself. I'm not advocating for the violence, by the way. Him choking Dedra was please don't ever, that's never okay. But it was more about the energy of not letting Dedra lie to his face anymore, right? Just shirking off that passive shell that he always puts on when he's around his mom or around other people, and him being no, you're going to tell me exactly what is going on, and you're going to tell me the truth right now. And if you lie to me, there's going to be consequences. That was hot. Okay, because that is what Cyril should have been doing a lot, because you saw it. We saw last episode, and I wouldn't be surprised if even before that, Cyril has had that gut feeling that something was off, but he didn't have it in him to stand up to Dedra like this. And yeah, who knows what could have happened if he had done that sooner. Now, again, if he had done it sooner, she probably would have pulled him off the planet, to be fair, right? Because she would have realized he was a liability. But all the same, kudos to him for standing up to her in that moment and being I need you to be honest with me, because the stakes are too high for the lies. And then asking her, when did you know? Right? Because I think at that point, that was a little bit of him please tell me you found out about this yesterday or 2 days ago, so I could at least feel like I didn't sleep with a complete viper this whole time. But, her lack of answer was enough to tell him that she knew the whole time. Right? So, I think he played it brilliantly. The look on his face, he was sick to his stomach looking at her at that point. And the fact that she says, we're going to go home, her justifications, right? Justification after justification. Oh, we're going to go home as heroes. This is going to happen. They've been planning this for years. It was going to happen anyway. So, we're not, everything to try to lift the level of responsibility that fell on her shoulders, and sadly, indirectly, Cyril's, and the fact that they came out so readily tells me that Dedra's been telling herself this multiple times. This is what she's been saying to herself to try to sleep at night, knowing what she was about to do. And I do think, I was very hard on Dedra in the episode, but only because I feel if you sit back and let a train wreck happen when you could avoid it or do your part to try to stop it, I don't care what your conscience says, it means nothing to me at that point. But if we're being, real to the character, I do think that when Dedra was still back in Coruscant, it was very easy for her to orchestrate this whole thing because she was away from it, right? Getting her reports from Cyril, but otherwise it was just numbers and data and conversations. But when she got on the ground and saw how Cyril felt about these people, saw that these were literally just people being around them, looking in their eyes, I think that's when it really started to hit her that, oh my God, I'm about to wipe all these people out for no reason. They're doing nothing. This is lies. Cyril's face when he saw the reporter saying word for word what he had just heard from the other people about what they were about, the narrative that they're painting about the Gormans. Like, it's sickening when you think of how manipulative and wrong it is on every level, and how, once again, these people have done nothing to deserve it. It'd be one thing if they were a hostile, volatile people that no one really liked. I'm not saying that makes it right, but at least you could somewhat understand why people would be like, okay, whatever. But literal farmers. It was a planet of, for the most part, farmers minding their business, and this is what they got. So anyway, with Dedra, I think that, from when she was starting this plan, the beginnings of it from a distance, it was pretty easy. But when she actually landed in Gorman and realized what was going to happen, that's when it really started to twist her stomach. And we saw that, like, with every step that I can't remember the name of her tactical, Mr. Scarface there, what his name was, but every time he made a move and she started to realize this is becoming more and more real, the actress did a fantastic job of showing how that normal mask she has on was starting to crack, and she was, trembling lips, trembling hands, wavering eyes, lots of big swallows and gulping, right? Because she's literally having finally a human visceral response to doing something that is so completely against normal human nature. Like, you literally have to be a sociopath or a complete demon to be okay with what happened on Gorman and not feel anything, especially knowing that it's completely undeserved. And from her perspective, knowing from the get-go that this was all planned, right? I mean, for Mr. Scarface, he still is a demon, but I don't think he knew that this was the plan from the get-go. I think he's just that guy they send in to do the dirty jobs, and he gets paid well to do it and shut up and go home. But for her, knowing the scope of it and the fact that she sat with this for over a year, it's understandable that she started to finally get to a point where even she couldn't hide the symptoms of her anxiety. So anyway, we see that when it's all said and done, Cyril breaking up with her, I know she didn't expect that because, again, as I said, Cyril's always put on the mask of being pretty passive, and for the most part, he is a simp, but I don't think she realized he had that level of rage in him. I mean, I did, because people who are like him, who have got a mom like he does, who just sit there and take it, they're always a powder keg ready to go off. But anyway, having that happen, knowing she feels sick about it already, seeing the people and feeling guilty, and then, watching it all go down, we see that by the end of it, it's all said and done. She couldn't. We saw how her Scarface sat there and watched the whole thing with a smirk, right? That man's completely dead inside. He's desensitized. Their life means nothing to him. As I said, what I wished for him in the episode stands. But for her, she couldn't watch. I'll give Dedra that. She couldn't sit and watch. She couldn't take it in, which again shows me that there is some humanity in there somewhere, and that she realizes, despite her worship of the Empire, this was messed up. There was really no way to spin this in a way that it doesn't make the Empire look disgusting, because they were for this. And so, yeah, we see when it's all said and done. And again, I don't know with the timing at the end where you see her in the room by herself, finally losing it. I don't know if she'd heard about Cyril at this point or not, but yeah, we see that she's clearly shaken. Like, this will, even though she's going to walk away from this as a hero and as a success, this is going to scar her forever, and it's going to mark her in one of two ways. Either she's going to double down and become even more ruthless, or this might be a turning point for her to realize that this love affair she has with the rebellion is not based in anything good or real. So anyway, that's Dedra. Cyril, like I said, they were the majority of the episode. We see that Cyril finally saw Cassian, and in the light of everything that happened, as I mentioned, he was already a ball of rage because of what was going on, and the fact that he clearly saw that he was about to take out Dedra. And again, even though Cyril had broken up with her, his feelings for her were not just gone like that. So we see that, yeah, that combination, he attacked, and he was pretty vicious. I have to say, like I said, Cassian, bro, he got worked over pretty good. He was actually dead to rights. He would have been gone if Rylance hadn't been the one to save him there. But I just thought it was hilarious that after all of that, Cyril doing all that and Cassie just being like, bro, who are you? Right? And I forgot that, like, they really never met in season 1. So that's kind of hilarious that all of that, and it's like Cyril's still a nobody, right? Like, after all was said and done, he's still effectively a nobody, even to this person he dedicated so much time to capturing. But yeah, anyways, that's the end of Cyril. And as I said, bittersweet. I mean, he wasn't a favorite of mine. I know he was a fan favorite, so I know some people are going to be disappointed he had to go out like this. It looked like he could have been he could have been headed for the right path, because he obviously was not okay with this, but I really don't know that he would have taken it. I really do feel like Cyril probably would have gone back to, if he survived it, I think he would have gone back to Dedra eventually and probably found a way to internalize this. But, he was shell-shocked. After this all said and done, I do think this would have broke him though. Like, it's either one of two things. Like I said, if he survived and he got to go back to Coruscant, he probably would have ended up going back to Dedra. If not, it would have broken him otherwise, right? He clearly was not okay with what was happening. So again, did he necessarily deserve to die? I don't know if I go that far, but I feel like that's probably the kindest thing that could have happened to him, honestly, because living with this, even Dedra is not going to be okay after all this. And then we saw as well that back at the Senate that the Gorman representative has been arrested. And that was the last thing, that Mon is now preparing to leave. Like, she wants to make her speech about how messed up the Empire is. And then she's like, I'm gone. I'm cutting my losses and I'm getting out. And she thought she'd have help, but I can't remember the name of the guy there. But he said he can't leave yet because someone's going to have to be there to keep the Senate and the Empire busy and away from the rebel activities if they're, if they are to run. So that's where things are, guys. It's, like I said, intense episode. It's been culminating to this point, but now since we still have a handful of episodes left, I'm very curious as to what the fallout's going to be. If there is going to be fallout, we see they got a radio message out at the last minute. Who heard it? Who believes it? That's going to be the question. So yeah, another good episode. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.